Yeah.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Industrial Amputation. My name is Joey Galvan. We got Joe Average and legendary Charles Levi right there. This week we have on Ali Jafri. Ali, thank you so very much for being here. We appreciate you very much
Thank
and your
you, Ali.
time.
Thank
Um,
you for. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
of course, man.
Thank you.
So, Ali, right out of the bat, you have a new album coming out digitally this Tuesday, February the 22nd, for a project called The Shadow Majlis.
That's right.
And the album is titled The Departure. It features David Bottrill, David J. of Bauhaus and Love and Rockets, Rakesh Tiwar, and Jafra. I'm sorry, from Jaffa and Road and the Special Interest Group, in addition to a whole host of talented artists. Can you provide some backstory to the creation of this release for us?
Yeah, it's a bit of a long story. But succinct. Like, it started actually. I got a grant. I'm lucky as a Canadian. We have great art support. We have grants, government grants to create stuff. And my now ex partner and I had a project, and we had gotten funding to do something together, and it was under my name. And when everything sort of fell apart between us with the death of our child, I was able to continue with the grant, and I decided to use the, as artists do, use the catharsis of creation and expression to help process the grief. And I decided to do that and throw myself into the process of trying to make sense of everything I was feeling. And luckily I was able to engage with so many of these amazing people that you just mentioned. David Bottrell being like an amazing producer. I met him backstage when Peter Murphy, David J were getting together to do the Ruby tour celebrating Bauhaus's anniversary. It was around the same time Kevin Haskins and Daniel Ash were doing Pop Song, and I was backstage as David J's guest because we go pretty far back. And Mark Gemini Thwaite, who's also on my album, is good friends with David Bottrell, and he's the one that introduced me to David Bottrell. And I didn't know much about David Bottrell, to be honest, and I'm a bit embarrassed to say that because once I looked him up, I was like, "How the hell do I
How
know
you
this
met him
guy?
up?
His name is incredible,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
lives in Toronto." And I'm like, "Guy, like I'm like, this guy's got to be one of my dream producers."
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
wrote, and here, I was lucky enough to get his attention and be able to set everything up to work with him. And of course, I called in David J. And then Mark Gemini Thwaite, being a link between Bottrell and I, was a natural ask as well. And I'd met Mark several times because I've been friends with Peter Murphy too, and I've been backstage pretty much every time Peter Murphy comes through Toronto from 2002 onwards. I've seen Mark so many times. We've become friends that way. So it's been really great, although hellish, to have this project. It was it's an opportunity to actually, like, the lesson is when you're down and out, it's good to ask for help, and that's what I did, and people showed up for me. And
Word.
and as did you, Charles. Like, you're going through your stuff, you're checking in on me, and I got so much love from music people, whether you're on
Yeah.
my album or not. I wish you were on my album, Charles, but obviously you were a
I
little
did
bit
too.
acted with your
Yeah.
own relations. But I I I was able to this, it was part of the process of my healing. Going back to the question,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
I was able to engage with all of these people. Almost everybody I asked to participate did, and
Yeah.
and I had a certain amount of budget. There were more people I wanted to ask, but there was only a certain amount of time and a certain amount of money, of course. Um, and we did it, and it was a bit painful in that I hadn't when my child got sick in January 2022. He passed away September of that year, and then there was a period of grieving. I did not play any music. whatsoever
Right, right.
at
Mhm.
the time. And suddenly I'm in the studio with a world-class producer trying to take these. I wrote a bunch of demos during the pandemic because there was nothing else to do. So I took all these demos that were I was sitting on that were now at this point a couple years old, and trying to figure out how I played these riffs and stuff that I had
Mhm.
created, and these beats that I had created, and trying to make sense of that. And then of course singing. I hadn't done any singing hardly, and it was really painful. There were moments when I was in the studio with Bottrell going, "Oh my god, I'm so rusty. I'm covered in webs. There's a world class in the control room going, all right, ready?" It's like fight, and then
Yeah.
with the grief state too. You're kind of mental already.
Yeah.
It was really hard. It was really hard, but credit to Bottrell, he did a great job making me
Mhm.
calm and getting the best out of me like a producer does with their artists, and he did just that. And I can't thank him enough for his bedside manner, I guess is what I'd say.
Mhm.
He has a really nice approach. He knows his shit.
Yeah.
So
Would
when I
imagine,
felt like I
yeah.
couldn't think of things, it was really great to have a mind like Bottrell's in the room to help me clear the fog, because I had so much fog. So the
Yeah.
process was like that. It was amazing to do, but it was also hard as hell. You know, the
Yeah.
emotional matter was heavy.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
I
Did
hope
he
I
have
answered.
you drawing on that?
What's that?
Did he have you drawing on that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, there's obviously with grief, there's a whole gamut of emotions, and we ran through all of them. There's bits
Yeah.
of anger and rage. There's obviously sadness, and there's also moments of elation too, and uplifting. You 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 go through moments of deep despair, and then you find hope. And that's one thing
Yeah.
I wanted to like touch on to anybody listening. Like, I went to a dark place. Like, not only did my kid die, I lost my family. Like, my family dissolved. I was provisionally accommodated, which is another word of being temporarily homeless. I
Mhm.
moved 7 times in 11 months after my son died,
Mhm.
bouncing. I wasn't working. I didn't have a lot of money. I spent a lot of my savings taking care of family when our kid was dying. We couldn't work because we had to take care of things. And it was a tough time. And I actually checked myself into the hospital because I was starting to scare myself with thoughts. I didn't attempt, but I had pretty close, you know,
Yeah.
ideation moments. And they didn't keep me in there long, which was good. Like, I stayed in the hospital for 6 hours. They talked me down off the ledge, and they were telling me everything I was feeling was normal. You know what I mean? Like, your child just died, and now you're like displaced. You're going through something extremely hard. Be gentle with yourself. And I'm glad they did, because I'm still here. I cut an
Yeah.
album. I've made a lot of new friends, and a lot of my old friends that I've lost touch with have also come back. I've lost friends along the way, and
Mhm.
it's been quite a trip. With the dissolving of my family, there are people that have sided with my ex-wife, and they don't talk to me anymore. And there's a lot of um,
Mhm.
new, amazing people in my life too. And I guess what I'm trying to say here is, it's always good to hang on. You never know what's coming around the corner. And having been in the depths of despair like I was, and I had serious ideation, I'm glad I didn't do anything stupid.
Yeah, yeah, really. Yeah, that'd
uh,
have been fucked up.
Amen to that.
That'd have been that.
You know,
Yeah,
our
definitely.
our
That'd have been
hearts are
terrible.
definitely with you on that, buddy.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
I'm hoping anybody listening to this, trust me, it does get better. It can get better, even if it doesn't look like it. Just hang on. The pendulum
Yeah.
swings. It always
Yeah.
swings.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
yeah, I
That's
had a
very
mantra
true.
for a little while I was going through some pretty dark stuff. And that mantra was just keep swimming Dory from Finding Nemo. It was
Yeah,
over and over and over in my head. And you know, when things got the darkest and I was having the most trouble, I would notice I was just singing that to myself. And I'm glad I did, because getting through to the other side wasn't easy. And I applaud you for being able to do that, man.
Me too.
Yeah, really.
Thank you for being brave enough to talk about it, because mental health
Yeah.
needs to be talked about so it's destigmatized, you know, it's the conversations that we need to have so we can have people around, you know, and we often sweep it under the rug and it just doesn't happen, sadly, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And everyone talks about dysfunctional families. Which family, which context, whatever your family situation looks like. We live in a modern era where families are blended and there's no non-dysfunctional family. Everybody has dysfunction. And I think by time we cut the bullshit and pretended like someone nobody's got it all figured out. Nobody
does. Nobody. Yeah.
And we down on ourselves.
The functional family is a myth. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you feel like your situation's fucked up, hey, you're not alone.
Yeah.
We're all
There's
kind
a
of
plethora.
Yeah. And we all care about you. We all care about you.
Yeah, which is what
out there that's going through that shit, we care. We do. Absolutely.
And that's what draws me to this subculture of the goth industrial punk. You know, it's this community that always kind of held up the banner of it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
It is.
Mental illness is a road to freedom.
That's right.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, yeah. On that note, you know, rest in peace, G. And
yeah.
I think we forgot something at the beginning of the show. This show is actually all our shows are dedicated to the memory of our friend Jason Lupo.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be a thing had he not thought of it. So
yeah, it got me out of the dumps.
Yeah.
And thanks to you, Ali, you lifted my spirit. You lifted my spirit up really well. You know, your pledge to help me really gave me a boost, kept me going. With the help with you and Danny and Martin, you really kept me going, you know, big time. It's like now my hand is getting a little better for me to play, but you know, in time it's going to grow better.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose any more friends. I don't want to lose any more friends. Not at all. And I heard a couple of songs already. That's good. You got me going to sound what is it called? Sound trying to think.
SoundCloud.
Yeah. SoundCloud. It's really good, you know.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that format. That's really cool.
Yeah. I just started following you the other day too, Ollie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. I
Well,
like
Charles,
the art and everything.
As I said in that video, man, like you've been an inspiration to many people, especially us people of color. And looking people like you and Tricky and Kim Tayo from Soundgarden. I always notice the the Brock and Brown guys. Well, you're definitely one of the coolest ones, man. Your bass playing, your rhythm.
Thanks, man. Thanks. You got a lot of swank on your horn. You got it down. You know, you hold that thing like a strat. You know, and I like that. You know, I want to do more shows in time. You know, there's some stuff. You know, but I'm trying to get my editing stuff down pat at least. You know, trying to get that together. But
well, I think you can, man. If the mind is a powerful thing, man.
Yeah. I mean, I had the luxury of having other people do it for me, but now, you know, I'm going to do it my damn self, you know, for a change.
It's liberating. It's liberating.
Yeah, it is. getting samples and messing around, playing the keyboards. You know, I'm dabbed in that. You know, but you really are inspiration yourself. You know, to me. So really, I saw your pictures of Tricky too.
Yeah.
That's
Oh man, that's
smooth.
awesome.
Yeah, that's smooth. Danny said, "Oh my God, he's with Tricky." That's really cool. That's
Yeah, I
really
saw that
cool.
file and I'm like, no. And then I opened it and I'm like, oh my God, that is so cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He's the guy, the most humble guy. Like when I met
yeah,
him, he shook my hand and like pressed his forehead to the back of my hand, like he was meeting some like high dignity,
Oh,
you know.
yeah,
And I'm the one who's like starstruck here.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
such a humble, nice guy. He had no air of pretentiousness or anything. He was
Uh,
so cool. Like I
yeah,
love Trick, and he's
yeah,
a great artist and a really good. And he treats everybody so nice.
yeah.
yeah.
And
That's cool.
That was great to hear that, man.
yeah,
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 I heard he's gonna mess with go back with Massive Attack, sort of. You know, dab and mess around with. You
I
know.
saw pictures of him and Daddy G on Instagram recently. They look like
Oh
they've
yeah.
been so
Yeah.
Uh,
I hope they do.
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be outstanding. Oh
That'd
my
be
God.
working. That would be busting. Shoot.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah.
Yeah, they did a reissue of Maxine Quai with a bunch of new stuff on there, or stuff that wasn't released on there that I need to check
Yeah.
out because that's one of my favorite
Yeah,
albums
no,
from the 90s.
that's
Hmm.
over the top great album. And man, they're putting out a vinyl one. Yeah.
Oh, it's out. It's out.
It's out.
Yeah.
Excellent. I've got some shopping to do. Yeah. So we were talking about the new project.
Yeah.
I think we've got some photos to show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Shadow. How do you pronounce that? Majlis.
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 Majlis, yeah.
And
If you were to, I was to spell it like phonetically, like when I do like captions, like I
Yeah.
my videos, the caption reader always comes up with Mudgles, like Mudge, like Mudgeless,
yeah,
like
Majlis. Yeah.
Mudge,
Okay.
Mudgeless.
Uh,
And
That's one.
can you give us a little background on what that means?
Yeah, so Mudgeless, it's from it's like a Middle Eastern word. It's Arabic. It's also in Farsi and in Urdu. It's and Turkish as well. It means like a council or an assembly. It also could mean sitting room. And if you do a Google image search of the word Majlis, you'll get images of these sitting rooms, these Middle Eastern style sitting rooms. And I like the word because actually, when I was growing up, I used to go to, I had a very religious family growing up. And we used to go to Majlises, which are basically religious gatherings.
yeah.
And but then you also have majlises that are like in government and there are councils, and any group of people getting together. It could be a concert, it could be
Majlis. Okay.
it's a type of majlis,
That's
and
beautiful.
it's a coming together of people. And I paired it with the word shadow partially because I got this East-West upbringing. My family is South Asian. They're also Muslim, and I grew up in the West, and I'm very much influenced by both sides. So I wanted to have a title that actually had a mix of language, and Majlis seemed to me a great name. And I guess a simple translation to it would be the Shadow Council,
Yeah.
and I like it because this project's kind of collaborative, and I want to bring things from the shadows, from the fringe, the edge. That's where the interesting points. That's where the interesting bits are on the edges, and yeah, I kind of wanted to. It's a nod to those not in the limelight. There's so much talent not in the limelight, and it's a nod to that fact.
Yeah.
Well, it's beautiful. I love the concept of it. entirely. I've noticed that you have a tendency musically just to bring a lot of different styles together, and I love it. You've got a track called Distant Cities.
Oh,
And, yeah. And I've played that like 15 times in the last 2 days.
oh
It's
wow.
so haunting and beautiful. And I'm just one musician to another, or one artist to another, because I'm not really a musician. I'm an artist that, makes noises on stuff. But there's one sound throughout. It's very resonant, very deep, and it feels like maybe a slightly out of tune string on a stand-up bass with the bow being just dragged across it slowly. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I did that during the pandemic, and it was sort of, they called it Distant Cities because like everything felt distant,
It did,
like
yeah.
even within my own city, like we weren't going anywhere, we weren't doing anything, and
Yeah.
so it was sort of, I was trying to create this feeling of isolation, and I, if I recall, that sound you're hearing is probably me using an ebo on a bass six, and
Okay.
and groaning on a really
It's
low.
absolutely haunting, and it I don't know, something about that track just it got inside my head, and I needed it. Honestly, it's a very therapeutic track. Anybody
Oh
out there that's you just go to YouTube, Ali Jafri music. I think it is music on there, or
yeah,
media,
yeah.
and look up that track. It's absolutely haunting. It really is. Um, I lost a friend a couple of weeks ago, a part of my chosen family, and it's it's there's been a lot of grief on this side too. So I fully appreciate anybody that's been going through anything like that or has gone through anything like that. And you gave me something to kind of hook onto the last couple of days, and I appreciate that very much.
Well, that makes me happy. I'm so glad that it's helped you, and that's the point of it. Like reason why I do things is for the connection. As a consumer of music, I've had that done. Like I like to say I make music, and I'm totally saying this because this is how I have felt as a fan. I have felt heard by the artists that I've enjoyed. I want people to feel heard when they hear my stuff, and
Yeah.
and
Well, you
I
nailed it.
want to be a voice for people who can't do what I do.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to take on that shared, what's the word, I'm losing my language here, forgetting what I'm how to articulate trying to say, but I everything I try to do, it's for the purpose of expression and connecting,
Yeah.
and making people feel something, because all the music I love has done that for me.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
to
Yeah, that- yeah.
do more of the same.
Yeah.
As a young person hearing these bands that I loved, it was like, man, I want to do this too. Like this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
cool.
I gotta
That's
say
me.
that and your sitar. Wow. The blend of the Eastern sound into especially into the industrial sound. I think the first place I was made aware of that was through Pigface, actually, and likely you, Ollie. But yeah, just where did you learn to play the sitar?
I'm learning a lot.
Oh,
So
that's so
Uh,
awesome.
uh,
um as I mentioned earlier, I came from a religious family. My family had their religious allegiance. They were Shia. There's, I don't know if people understand the Islamic world. It's like the Protestants and Catholics that fought in Ireland.
Mm,
We have the Shias and Sunnis, and the Shia are a minority, and their basic leadership in the world is out of Iran. And after the 1979 Iranian Revolution, my family was extremely religious, and I was born in 1973. So between ages 0 and 6, my family life looked one way. the 1979 happened and everything changed. My mom started to cover up. We started going to a lot of religious events. There was a lot of anti-Western sentiments and a lot of anti-Eastern sentiments. And I went through a lot of hardship as a lover of music and a young person. And I could not pursue music till I was away at university. And I started instruments. And I've always been dealing with this double identity as an Eastern, Muslim kid from this family living in the West, falling in love with goth punk stuff. And again, I fell in with that crowd because they seem to be the least racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got Charles Levi in that scene, playing music. And, it was nice to be in a predominantly white scene that had cool attitudes and inclusive, accepting attitudes. So for me, picking up sitar, it came just as something I wanted to do as an expression of the mix of who I am. My main instrument is vocals and guitar. If those are the two main instruments I'd say I'm most comfortable with. Sitar was something that I got into much later, and it's something that I tend to be good with stringed instruments in general. So when I picked
it up really good. Yeah.
And I have to say, Bob Dog.
Yeah, Bob Dog.
You want to hear a cool story?
Yeah.
So in 2016, I guess, is when Pigface had the 25th anniversary show at House of. So I was watching that stuff because I was doing a show with Leslie Rankin. Ruby came to Toronto, and I opened for her as a solo artist. And I was so excited. She was on this. She came from Scotland, obviously, to do the Pigface gig. And she did a few shows on this side of the pond. And I was watching stuff online, and I saw Bob Dog's sitar, and I'm like, holy shit, look at that thing. Like, I was playing that thing when I was watching footage from that show. Fast forward to May 2017, David J asks me to come out to play at Convergence in Dallas. And I show up there, but I didn't want to bring my sitar because Trump was newly president, and a lot of my world music friends that were traveling were having a lot of issues with getting into. A lot of people were getting broken instrument stories traveling.
Wow.
And the traditional sitar is extremely delicate with the pumpkin gourd and everything.
Yeah.
I had to travel with that. So I reached out to Ogre and was like, by any chance, do you happen to know anybody in Texas that plays sitar? He goes, I just might. So then he calls Curse Mackey, who was performing at Convergence. He's Evil Mothers and Pigface with Bob. They know each other so well. He was able to arrange for that very sitar that I was ogling in those YouTube videos was brought to Dallas from San Antonio.
Oh, wow.
No way.
I played Bob Dog sitar with David J. Thanks to Ogre, Chris Mackey, and Bob.
Wow.
And as soon as that show ended, I ordered one for myself.
Oh, man.
And as I talked to Bob Dog about like where did you get this thing from? And it kind of boosted my interest in incorporating sitar more because that instrument is so much easier to deal with. You stand up and you play, you can amplify it. Trying to play like a classical, like traditional sitar, the one I had before didn't even have a pickup on it. It was it's just kind of tricky to use in a live amplified environment. And that is a bit of a game changer, the fact that you can plug that thing in.
That's awesome.
And you don't have to do the cross-legged barefoot thing.
Yeah, right.
That's I've got a huge love for instruments like that. I mean, anything that's gonna, I don't know. When I was growing up and the music classes I had, there was a lot of African instruments, and they would bring out the little the little fish with the ridges on it and the stick, and and stuff like that. So I kind of attached that in my early childhood to all kinds of music, and so I do collect some, or just sound wise, I try to collect as many unique sounding things as I possibly can, and the sitar is one of my favorites.
Oh, one point I forgot to mention, part of the whole song and dance of my story, of my parents and our background, is music is a sinful thing in our religious community, especially Western music. But music is considered like pornography for the ears, you know. And
if you do it right, that's exactly what it is.
yeah, it makes me think of the word oral, like AURAL. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh man.
And I'll probably get killed. I probably can never set foot in Iran ever. Well, not that I ever have been there, but I'm sure if they knew of my views, I'd get killed instantly. Because I know Persian musicians, like there's so many that just can't go, especially female ones. A female Persian musician,
wow, yeah,
can't, you know. So I came from a background like that. So I've always loved music, but I always felt like it's almost like growing up, you know, wanting to be like, it's almost it's a gross example I'm not going to use, but it's like being the opposite of what your family believes in. You know what I mean? It's like, and like telling my parents I want to be a musician is almost the equivalent of like a Bible Belt family having a kid saying, "I really want to be a porn star." You know what I mean?
Wow.
You know, and extremely shameful. And so I had to do a lot of things without family support. I didn't do gigs, and my parents were there. I've never filled a room with family. It's always been a shameful thing. But for me, it's always been a spiritual thing. And I used to listen to Bauhaus secretly when I was 16, living with my parents. I used to go to the library, sign out Bauhaus cassettes, listen to them on these. My parents had a store, and they used to sell these like shitty Walkman, and I used to listen to Bauhaus on these shitty Walkman I smuggled from the store. And sure enough, I got into some Sufi mysticism, and I discovered that Peter Murphy is also on that tip, and so is David J. And ironically, I befriended these guys through a crazy story. In Toronto, I was in a band. We were rehearsing. I heard Peter Murphy's voice through the vent when I went to the bathroom for a bathroom break. I'm like, man, this dude sounds just like Peter Murphy. He put together a Toronto-based band for his Dust tour, which was an album which is very heavily themed Sufi instrumentation from Turkey. And I got to meet him during those rehearsal sessions. And for me, it was mind-blowing to be this Muslim kid listening to Bauhaus, feeling like I was doing something really sinful and horrible, to meeting Peter Murphy on those terms. And this Sufi Islamic mysticism link between us, and Islamic mystics have always been persecuted because the tyrants always want to kill people that are speaking about love, you know. And Sufis are all and pluralism and inclusion.
Should the World Fail to Fall Apart was an absolute masterpiece. It's I mean, I was already a hardcore Bauhaus fan by the time that came out, but when it did, holy crap, man. That was a smack in the face, and a wake up. It really was. I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful album, and it's still every time I hear a track opening on that, it takes me all the way back to my old bedroom at my parents' house in high school. And music's a time machine.
It is. It definitely is, and it's been a saver for me and many people.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
listen to a lot of different stuff, and you play your instruments. You have a good ear.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a natural.
Yeah.
That's what I used to have to do. I play. I hear something. If it don't sound like it sounded like when I heard it, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And a guy told me to go to this music class, and I was like, yeah. So I went and took a music composition, and I go, what am I looking at these dots? I really. So I would just play. I figure that this is where it's supposed to go. Doesn't sound right. It's supposed to go this way. And so I kept going through my recitals, passing my recitals, because I assumed that that's where it's supposed to sound anyway.
Yeah.
And finally, he said, "You're not paying attention. You're getting by when other kids don't have that gift. Your black ass better get on the ball, or you're not taking this class free anymore." And because he was giving it to me free at the University of at Roosevelt University, and I was just taking up. I was just going because he saw me at a jam session, and he goes, "You taking music?" I know, no, I'm not. It's on. So I was slacking. He was, he was not having it. So I kind of wish I stayed with the guy, but you have a gift, Ali. You are really good.
Oh,
And
thank you.
you're really good. You downplay it. I mean, you don't downplay it, but you just do, man. I'm not in Toronto. I guess if I was in Toronto, we'd be kicking it hard, you
Well,
know,
you told me about your urban, what was it called?
urban
The urban
soundtrack.
sound. Yeah. When we finished our gig in Toronto after the Pigface show, and you're
Yeah,
telling me about it, and we were going to collaborate on it, but then the world fell apart with the pandemic, and you got sick and
yeah,
everything else. Like,
yeah.
you were already
I'm, do-
talking.
yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I just got a couple of tracks, and of ideas that I'm putting together. There's like two or three. I'll send you some stuff. You
Okay.
know, it's definitely based off of Massive Attacks, trip hop. But American style. From Chicago, and I'm the cinematic feel where I want it to be really personal. You know, Barry Adamson I'm a big fan of Barry Adamson. And, it's incorporate all that, and I'd be glad to have you in on it. Once I get everything down pat and some tracks, I'll be able to send you some tracks.
I'd be
You know.
honored.
Oh, I'd be honored. You can play some sitar on that motherfucker.
Oh my
That'll be
God.
cool.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I wish there was more. I wish you were on more dates. And with Pigface, I don't know what Martin's doing nowadays. He's healing himself, and so we're not getting any younger. So it's got to be a very good. It's got to be a system so that everybody can be accounted for, accommodated, and compensated.
Yeah.
It's got to be. We don't need like these big promoters, big promotion companies. Uh, if we just get it together and do it. I don't. Right now, I just want to. I'm writing memoirs, and I want to get some stuff done, and I want to get another release for the urban soundtrack. And that'll be good. Your album is really good. It's got good textures.
Yeah.
And I got to sit down and listen. And I've been concentrating for the last 2 or 3 months on how to edit. Like I see my 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 other friends, see my friends doing it. I want to see. I want to get to it. I want to do it myself. I want to wake up in the morning and go like, wow, I got this idea in my head. Just grab pieces and add it. You know,
Yep.
instead of having someone else do it.
Yeah.
No. And I can do it with like Martin, get an intern or something, and let them get a grade, So that's a good thing too, because I don't know. I mean, that's how I came along, But I want to meet David J one day.
Oh, you haven't met him yet?
I haven't met him yet. I met guitarist, what's the name?
Daniel Ash?
Yeah, I did Daniel Ash. Yeah, I met Daniel Ash a couple of times. And he was really cool. He was DJing in LA. He was DJing, and it was a publisher's party. And he was a DJ for the publishing party, bash. And so I just got signed with Schecter Bases. And I had the urban soundtrack. I had 2 or 3 tracks of the urban soundtrack, which I hadn't even really got the final masters. And the guy I was doing it with did not answer the phone. I had the publisher there. He was going to do everything. He wanted me, and he wanted the track to use it for a cop pilot, a cop show, like a CSI, some whatever.
Yeah.
And I called the guy and say, hey, listen, come on, send this track to this publishing. And I couldn't get to the guy. I knew the guy was playing PlayStation and doing coke and sitting back, and he just didn't want to answer the phone. So when I never did get to send the guy, but they passed on the idea because it was the timing is everything, and I missed that. I missed that timing. Could have got a publishing deal. Instead, I wound up auditioning to join the publishing company, and they had me do some songs, and I wasn't into it. I'm not going to sound like I'm not going to do no songs just to sit there and sing a jingle stuff. I had my share of jingles playing bass for McDonald's commercials. And now you don't even have to do that no more. You can just edit. Edit that shit in. And that right there, yeah. So, but I guess it's well. Go ahead.
You've done commercial jingles?
Yeah. It was a guy. He was I was playing. I was in the Bootsy and Larry Graham, and and I just had Bootsy had just came out his album, and he was I want to be with you, and he had this effect, and I was like, wow, and so this guy is like, damn, Levi, man, he's heard me slapping and stuff like that. He says, man, you should, I got you I'm gonna get you some commercials. So, it was a McDonald's commercial, and all I had to do was sit there and play, the drum track playing, and I funk to it. And I got some jingles in, and I made some good money, And after a while, it was fun, And I don't know whatever happened to the guy, but I got sick of those jingles. It was like, fuck that.
I'm gonna have to look some of those up and see if I can what do you call it? AI the rest of the music out just so I can have those bass lines.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know. So
make something else out of it. We'll call it the Levi Big Mac attack.
Yeah. Big Mac smack,
Big Mac smack.
Yeah.
Ollie, I was wondering, David Botro, like he has a really lengthy repertoire of people he's worked with. As a producer, how does he challenge you as an artist?
By making me really tightening up on first of all, like the vocal performance is something that he's very, very, very particular about, and making sure we're getting the right best takes. And and also when I was playing some guitar parts and some bass six parts and the sitar parts, there were times I had to come up with stuff and I wasn't really feeling it, and he was getting me to like try things in a different way. And one of the things he challenged me with was how I was thinking of things rhythmically. And he had me thinking about my rhythmic sensibilities and not thinking the way I typically do. And I had tendencies to come in on the one or this or that, and he'd be like, don't do that, try to come in, you know, like this, and come in there, try that. And he also had me try to sing things in ways like full disclosure, there's this song called Swallowed by the Sky on the album, and he really pushed me to sing a lot of difficult lines. Like some of the lines were not really resonating with me, and I couldn't really get into what he was getting me to do. He's like just trust me, do this, try this. At the end of the day, I was not happy. But I don't know, I don't know where my head was at. The next day, though, when I listened to it, I'm like, I fucking love this. And in the moment, I knew if it was up to me and he wasn't involved, that song would have emerged completely different. He had such a heavy impact on that song in particular, on the whole album, to be frank. But that song in particular was a song where I went from literally the night before going, I don't know about this track, waking up in the morning and hearing it with fresh ears and being like, this is fucking great. And it was all his suggestions that made the difference. And I wouldn't have arrived at the decisions that were made on those songs without him. And he was making me do things I didn't like in the moment. But hindsight's 2020. I'm so glad he got me to try this and to try that. I would never have done some of the things I did. And so that was challenging because I'm like, I don't know if I like this idea. But he's bought too, right? Like, okay, you know, this guy clearly knows the shit. He's easy to trust.
Man, I cannot wait to hear this.
Did I not send it to you?
I've been really, really horribly busy this last week, and I haven't listened to everything. But yeah, I'm gonna be playing the hell out of it. So
let me share some pictures from the new album if you guys can bear with me real quick. Let's see here. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Technology.
I like that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
look
at that artwork.
That is so pretty. Wow.
So
the stag has such spiritual relevance in a lot of cultures. Is there anything particular about this?
Yeah. So first of all, shout out to Steven Cito, also known as Splinter Cage. He's the artist that on this, and he's brilliant. I absolutely love everything he does, let alone what he did for this album. He's a phenomenal. He's a great musician too. He makes music as well. He's also an amazing visual artist, as you can see. So this here, we went with this symbolism because Oshin, my son, who is in the middle there, that's a photo of him in Iceland. And Stephen incorporated this image of him, and the antlers are in reference to his name. Oshin is an Irish name. And it means little deer, and it's tied to the mythology centering around the giants and Finn McCool. And Oshin was Finn McCool's son. And so naturally, when I was thinking of visuals around Oshin, the deer thing was a very, very easy thing to turn to.
Wow.
And as you said,
Mhm.
there's so much symbolism. There's so much meaning around the stag and the deer, and so it was an amazing fit, an amazing thing to work with, and the way Stevens portrayed it, like the way this depiction of Oshin from this photo and the way everything's set up in this image, I just absolutely love it.
Yeah. You
You
should
got
get
this
some
coming up
t-shirts
too.
made.
I'm sorry.
Huh.
It's your
You
big
should get t-shirts.
debut.
What's that?
You got your listening party on Tuesday, the 27th?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
here, great place called Ground Control. My friend Lloyd opened up this venue a few months ago, and it's a David Bowie inspired venue, hence the name Control.
Oh,
And
We're all big Bowie fans here. Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yep, yep.
So
And
is this possibly going to be broadcast online or anything, or is this just an in-house?
this is
party?
an in-house local thing, but I
Okay.
am considering doing a Zoom event. I would love to do a Zoom event where we listen through, and I'm also doing a screening, so because there's some footage from the studio I want to share with people about the making album. I also want to do a bit of storytelling about who Oshin was, and what a lot of the inspiration of the making of the album, where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So hopefully I can do a Zoom thing. And these videos that I'm making, because this is the other thing about Ground Control. Ground Control is a video dance party kind of venue. There's a lot of screens in the room. And so I'm using the screens. There's going to be an intro video, and then there's going to be the first song. I'm going to have like lyric videos for all the songs, and then little vignettes between the songs telling a little bit of making of story, kind of document kind of stuff. So people that are there, I wanted to ideally put together a band and do a live show, but I don't have a band put together yet. I do my vinyl's in production right now. When my vinyl and physical merch is ready, I'm working with a publicist right now, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing for shows. I want to tour. I want to play all over the place. I want to travel. I want to take this where I can take it, wherever it's possible. If I can go all over the world, I will. So these videos, though, I want to incorporate a bit into my online presence. So some of the stuff I'm screening on Tuesday will be on my YouTube channel, probably. Not all of it, but a bit. And if I do end up doing a Zoom event, then perhaps that'll be an opportunity for people to see everything that I'm cutting.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
I don't know if I have to see if I can, my online mailing list. If anybody watching this, please sign my mailing list. Shameless self-promotion. Because I put it out in my last newsletter. If people on my newsletter list are not local and can't come to the event, I am willing to do a Zoom event if people want it. So if you want it, let me know.
Well, I definitely do. So
yeah, we'll promote that for sure.
I also want an in-person event in Seattle. So I if you're interested in doing a show, I know some people. So
I would love to get around. I'd love to ideally tour with somebody. I would love to do the thing
where I might be able to help with that too.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't. I know a couple of people that might be on level with you. That yeah, for sure.
That would be amazing.
We talk about you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to talk about you and see if you can talk about you and Charles and Pigface. You guys take that away. We want to see where that goes.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, stories, Pigface stories. Woo!
Stories, please.
Okay, what do you start, Charles? You're the core elder statesman here.
Yeah. Well, I know one thing. I was surprised to see you there at the Pigface at the show. I remember. I think you told me, but I was surprised. It was cold that day too. And then when we went down to the dressing room, there was a lot of people there in the dressing room, and Danny Ferry was there, and there was so much going on. I hate doing our shows. I hate the last show to be in Chicago because there's so many people, so much activity, so much distraction. Man, that's but I know one thing. That was good. It was a good thing. It was good to see you there. And I noticed at sound check, you're really, man, you're really good with your instrument, man. You're good with the horn. God, I didn't even know you play guitar and stuff. Should have grabbed that sitar and started fucking playing. I know. No, but we had a good time. We had a good time. And I didn't know that was going to be my last live show playing. You know, that was the last show with 2 legs. You know, but I'm walking now. But man, I wish you were on the other, I wish I knew more about you. And, I think I had some say in some of the things, for Pigface, I only want the best for us, and we owe it to the fans, and, I just would like to, I hope that there's in time be another one, like I said, there's a way to incorporate such an event that would be really good. That would be good.
Yeah.
And then you can open up and have play your set, and then you can get it like an orchestra, like a Pigface orchestra, to do some of your songs. And I was trying to get a tour. I was trying to get something going where all of us play in like an orchestra thing. We have this things, and we just, whoever's album, that we're playing, they have a Pigface orchestra there,
Nice.
and
That'd be cool.
yeah, that would be cool, and it'd be a really good cast of characters.
I think we've got some photos of you and Levi together too, don't we, Joey?
Yeah, let me see if I can make this work again. Excuse my technology curve here.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Let me go. Oh, 1 second. No.
That's at
There we
I've
go.
got that Jägermeister backstage pass badge.
Oh yeah.
With a picture of Charles
Yeah.
Levi in high school.
There you go. Who's on the right?
That's Fallon Bowman from Kitty.
Yeah. I heard she's an actress now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, she can sing.
Those are
Also,
some great photos, man.
No,
She was telling me.
You know what we're laughing? You know what we're laughing about in this picture? We were calling ourselves POC face.
Yeah.
You see Charles.
Yeah.
He's embarrassed.
Color shot.
Yeah.
Look at that shot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful
man.
picture.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
People totally in their element, doing something they love.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I have to disclose something to Charles. He probably doesn't know this because I was a little bit heartbroken in Chicago because of my own excitement. I sang Stateless with Chris Mackey in Toronto, and I wanted to sing it in Chicago too. But of course, Chris Connolly's there, Mary Viper, Chris Mackey, Randy Blythe is there. I wanted to, and Charles was like, "No, man, just step back." And I was like, "You know what? Okay." And I learned in that moment that I had a lot of fucking hubris to think I was going to get. and I couldn't. I didn't end up singing on Stateless in Chicago, and there was a part of. I'm not gonna lie, my ego was bruised but I'm okay with it. I was okay with it.
That tour.
Yeah, it was
But again, like Chris Connolly and Mary Biker, like of course, man. Like what the hell? Like who am I?
Yeah.
Because I had sung it in Toronto a few days earlier. I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that one again.
Yeah.
And
that stage was little in Toronto. God.
Yeah, it was really small, and
it was really small.
And the show, I love playing. I just love playing, and I wanted on stage in Chicago, like even as like a hype man in a hip hop show.
Yeah, that'd have been cool. Yeah.
I had tickets for that show in Seattle, and it got canceled because of the pandemic. And I still got my VIP stuff, my little badges and bracelets and stuff. And I mean, Martin was great about it, and but yeah, I was so bummed that show didn't make it to Seattle. I really should have thought about spending some money.
Yeah, I don't know why. Was it snowing or something?
No, I think it was the pandemic. Pandemic
closed
everything down.
Yeah. We almost didn't play here in Denver, but we made it through, and it was freezing. But
it was
freezing. It was a good show, but yeah.
You know what?
I knew I wind up here.
You know what my favorite moments was when Day and Jay Lamar, they came out and did their hip hop bit.
Oh yeah.
Had this fucking bass groove going. You, Danny Carey, Martin, Bradley Bills, and I'm forgetting that woman's name. She was also in the back on drums. I'm forgetting her name right now.
Leanne.
Yeah, Leanne.
Yeah.
All of you had this like amazing groove, and I was watching you from the side of the stage.
Yeah.
What bass riff you had going? It was dope. It was.
Yeah. That's why he's called the bass messiah. Yep.
Yeah.
That was
yeah, I'm playing the bass right now.
Yeah, there you go.
And my favorite of those hip hop artists was Day. Like her flow is fucking
I know.
amazing.
I was surprised because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that at all. And Martin pulled a rabbit out of his ass that time.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, why weren't they there a sound check? Damn.
But you guys are hitting it, man. That rhythm section in that song was on fire.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Beating that dookie stick.
Putting the dookie on it. Yeah. I love that line.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I wound up having a fan.
That was from Charles. Yeah.
It was a fan. He goes, we were walking on stage with Thrill Kill, and this fan that was dressed up like he was a Chicago mafia officer in New York, he goes, go work that dookie stick, my man. And I was like, this guy, who is this guy? And he had been coming to all the shows. He'd been flying to the shows. I was like, wow, I'm gonna move to San Francisco with that guy to grow some pot, And he was really great, He made me, that guy, wow, Mike Mulholland. He had a thyroid problem, and he was a character. He blossomed up to 400 pounds, called him Big Baby. He introduced me to
when you played with Project 44 in Seattle. That was the guy that had the T-shirt wrapped around his head and doing the drum thing. Was that the same guy?
No. That guy is Motor.
Oh,
his
Motor.
job
Okay.
is to tear shit up.
And he did. Oh my God.
He did.
That was a fucking show. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, he tore it up. Yeah. Yeah, Motor. No, he wasn't. No, the guy I'm talking about was bigger than the Motor.
Oh wow.
And yeah. And and in Oakland, he sold pot. We grew pot. And he said, come on, Levi, come to San Francisco. Thrill Kill's not in San Francisco no more. It's no fun. I go, I don't know, man. Move down here. So I moved to San Fran. I had to grow pot. But I was really standing there coaching him from talking to people like they were crazy. He talked to people and go like, You having a nice day today at work? And the volunteers are like, yeah, really am. And then he goes, well, get your ass to work, you know. Like, come on, man, don't talk to these people like that. They're
Oh.
doing it for you. You know, they're cleaning up. And he was like, I don't give a damn, blah, 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 blah. And he was just, so eventually I wound up moving from there. I took up my little pot collections, and he didn't even teach me how to grow pot. I was standing there trying to keep the kids from quitting on him and running out, you know, and to keep up his tab with the Hells Angels. So anyway, so that was my experience. But I haven't talked to Leanne in a while. You know, some Ali. She's she was her stage name is Dickless.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And all my friends kept saying, yeah, man, you're gonna have Dickless playing with you. She's a cool drummer. I was like,
What's her nickname?
her nickname is Dickless.
Okay, I didn't hear it right. I'm sorry. Just
And so I'm at a rehearsal. I'm going like, hey, Dick, what we got to do? What is your name? You know, she says, my name is Leanne. I go, yeah, you know, why they call you Dickless? I don't know, you know. But I said we got to get her to come on tour, man. So he got her in, and she can do no harm. I love Dickless. I mean, Leanne. she's a girl drummer in an all boys band, and the name of the band is Beer Nuts.
Okay.
Fitting.
Yeah, and so she would be the drummer, you know, and she's cool. You know, it was fun when she went to go on tour with us. She went on tour with us twice. That's Martin's buddy. You know, she's cool. And it's really showed because when I went and saw her after the tour, her her drumming was a little more intense, and she was a little more cannibal about it.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous. She's just shit.
Yeah.
And then when we go out after shows, when me and her go out, people think that I'm her pimp. So she's really cool. She's cool. I talked to Dickless. I haven't talked to Dickless in a while, but maybe I'll reach out to her. You know.
Hey, Charles, what was your first Pigface gig like? When did you do your first ever show with Pigface?
My first show was I was, you know, first time I ever did play with Pigface.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the dressing room. They were playing it at the Metro in Chicago, and I had the munchies. So I went to the dressing room and made me a big ass sandwich. And as I'm making this sandwich and stuff, Martin Atkins walked in and he goes, "Hey, Charles Levi, why don't you come up on stage with us?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Yeah, man, yeah, I will." What? As I'm muffing down the sandwich. So I went up on stage, and I was like, "What the fuck are these guys playing?" And you know, it was Dean Ween and who was Paul Raven and a few other people, Mary Biker, and they were all high as fuck. And I was like, "What the fuck are you guys playing?" And William Tucker's like, "Do this and do that, playing this key." I'm like, man, shut up. You know, so I just started playing, you know. I was like, shut your ass up. And I just started playing the groove, you know, I was just playing the groove. And, you know, months later, Martin asked me if I want to come on the tour. And I go, as long as we had some rehearsals, okay? Because I didn't know what the hell I was playing up on that stage. And so, you know, and Tammy Downs from Faster Pussycat was in it.
Wow.
And Pat Sproul, the guitarist from Skinny Puppy, was in it. And Curse Mackey. Yeah. The first show though was fat. It sounded. I wanted to make sure we sounded like a unit, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember when Ogre eventually joined the tour at Phoenix, and Julio was at the mark at the looking at the posted up stuff that was posted up on the bulletin board, and he says, "Man, what's the name of this band?" I go, "We're called Pigface." It's Pigface, and he says, "Oh man," he says, "I said we're doing a sound check." He says, "I want to come to." So he came to our sound check, and Ogre came off the stage, and the first thing he said was, "Man, this thing sounds like a machine. Sound like a band." You know, we're playing Asphalt, and Ogre was like, "Whoa, this is fat," you know. And it was fat. It was really good. That tour, Notes from the Underground, was a good tour. I liked it. I think they gave it some legitimacy to where Pigface can be taken seriously. But I think this time we need to make it a little more worldly.
Yeah.
Have some more inputs from other artists as well, and not to put so much on the cool hits or whatever. Had some good songs, add some variables. Pretty much, and that's what I'd like to have. I like Pigface to be that way. Have a plate of different styles added to it.
Yeah.
And definitely have you there. Ali, you
I
got
would
to,
love that. And
you got to
Galen
talk.
Lee's involvement with Pigface is like an
Yeah,
inclusion that's absolutely gorgeous and brilliant.
Yeah.
yeah.
But Galen Lee brings Pigface as a whole dimension.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing is.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Now
always been one of my favorite things about them, the ensemble setup, like the super group for industrial, but the diverse mindsets that were in there, it's just totally, it made it its own sound. I mean, Pigface was very, very its own sound, and it just kept growing and growing and growing up through every album they've done. It's probably one of my favorite bands in the world.
Yeah, I guess we got to come up with some songs. We got to come up with some songs for this man.
Yeah.
But definitely no more what's that big booking agency for promoters that book shows and stuff. All these shows now.
Oh, Live Nation?
Live Nation.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. We got to find someone that's just that can come. Like we can find somebody that did like Curse Mackey, like we did with Curse Mackey. We gave the show to Curse Mackey when we were Throw, and Curse worked his way into the field of book, of being a promoter. And if we find someone that can cut out, all the Live Nation and it's another one that another agency. They just say, and tickets for bands should be able to make money because tickets now like go for $500, $800 a ticket. Man,
it's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the second or the third party market.
Yeah.
We've got a situation where people are basically using their credit cards, going online and buying up as many tickets as they can, and they don't even know the band. They don't care about the band. They don't give a shit about that. They just want to flip the ticket and make as much money as possible, and then the fans end up losing out for that, and it's really sad.
Yeah, there used to be a lot of we used to throw, like, we couldn't play at some of the clubs back in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. So bands like Pumpkins, Falling Pieces, Material Issue, instead of going to the promoter or going to the venues, we started having, it was a friend of mine whose dad owned a theater, a movie theater. And we all used to have keggers where we bring our kegs, bring your cups, and pay at the, $10 at the door and $5, and you have a cup and you have all the beers, whatever. And we were having our own concerts. And we didn't even have to use the club. And we had a friend, they had a cut rate PA sound system, and it was cool. So we had a thing going, we had a good thing going. And we play shows, and this weekend we're going to be playing at the Music Box, and, and just, it made money, and the bands made some money. And, we didn't have to worry about tickets or stuff like that, credit cards, stuff like that.
Yeah. I love what Robert Smith did with Ticketmaster. Gordon, he shot back and fought for fans to not be gouged, and their tour T-shirts were reasonably priced too. Like the selling $25. That's unheard of these days by big touring bands. And the tickets were affordable. I saw them in London at Wembley, and I only paid 65 quid, for those tickets. And hardly anything by today's standards.
And what's Depeche Mode have done that?
Yeah, exactly.
Most expensive tickets I've bought.
Actually,
how much more?
First time I spent the night overnight to get tickets for a concert was for Music for the Masses, and I had to spend the night out on the sidewalk and wait for the morning time to happen, and it was an experience. You got to hang out with other fans, and the camaraderie of the whole thing was just fun as hell. I really miss that kind of stuff.
Something, I stood in line, I stayed overnight getting Zeppelin tickets.
Yeah,
I stayed on the west side of Chicago. Game bangers were coming back and forth, and I finally got my ticket.
Yeah,
and saw Zeppelin.
Wow.
And I never forget that. That was. I stayed all night, and then the next day, because we all watched each other, so we wouldn't get robbed.
Yeah.
And man, I get to know a lot of people and stuff.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
part of the game.
Fortunately, I started working for the company that was booking the shows, so I didn't have to wait in line no more for tickets. Yeah, no more waiting in line, especially that.
Hey, Charles, when you guys did the Crow film, did you get to meet Brandon Lee?
Yeah, sure did. Right. Yeah, this is funny because we stood in front of we had to go and take the clothes we were going to wear to the trailer, or to the trailer, so that the wardrobe lady can look at it and tell us, what I had was cool or not. And so I'm waiting in line for these people to go into the trailer. So I said, well, I'm the only one standing there. So I lit up a joint, don't start smoking, I'm trying to smoke it. And all of a sudden, somebody in back of me said, that's pretty strong downwind. And I turn around, I go, oh, wow, you're Brandon, you're Bruce Lee's son. Wow. And I was lit. And I touched him, I go, oh, my hand's fucked up. He goes, what's wrong? I go, oh, dude, I made a joke about it. I go, you're Bruce Lee's son. You crippled me, motherfucker. And he laughed. And he laughed, and we got along. We hung out, we talked, and doing the taping, the filming of us for the shoot, for the video. There were 400 extras in that scene, and the name of the place was Club Trash, and there was garbage cans that were holes poked in them with a light in it, so it looked real dark. And we're going through and we're on the airport. They had airport lights shooting up through a screen, and we had to do so many takes, and so someone started smoking pot in there, and so after a while, I had my bass plugged up, so I'm playing bass in between the breaks, and finally the production people had to tell us to go to our dressing rooms and wait till they ready to shoot because it was getting a little out of hand, And Frank Groovy was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And so I saw Brandon, and he was really cool. He was about to be married. His fiance was coming. He couldn't smoke any pot because he had to shoot, for the, he had to shoot, scenes.
Yeah.
And so it's in Wilmington, North Carolina, and they don't serve booze unless you're having dinner. So we ordered appetizers, and we hung out, and he had time to hang out. And there was some fans said, "Hey, there's a cover band playing Black Sabbath tunes." So they said, "This band is really good. They're a Black Sabbath cover band." So Brandon, me, and some of the other people, we went and saw the show. And it was a badass show. They had the laser beams, and Brandon liked it. He was cool. He liked it. He thought he's a short guy. And but when it was funny, I said, "Oh wow, it's fun to meet you." He broke my hand. And he was like, "Well, what happened?" I go, "No, man, I'm all right." I was kidding. So we hit it off really well, and stuff. And I saw the jackets, like the sport coats. They had these cool sharkskin coats, and they had them all taped up with gel packs. So, whenever a person gets shot, blood spurt out, So I was like, so this, so the, some of the, some of those, so, we were in Chicago, and some of the tech guys told me, yeah, these jackets, man, are really cool, but they're gonna get ruined. So they did,
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I get to Chicago, and Jackie Black says, "Man, Brandon Lee's dead." And I was like, "What?" And she said, it was an accident. The guy was filming, and the blank in the gun had too much gunpowder in it, and it pierced his chest, and it killed him. And so she goes, "That's a damn shame. We finally get our funky ass in a goddamn movie, and the star of the movie dies. That's fucked up." So then time go on, and someone told me that the movie's coming out. They were going to release it. And I finally got to see it. I saw the part where Brandon falls out one of these sun guys fall out of the window onto the stage and all that stuff. It was all done in Wilmington, North Carolina, until we're a cement warehouse. So Club Trash wasn't a club; it was a cement factory. and Brandon Lee was all over the place. Yeah, he had to do shots, scenes, and stuff like that. So it was sad though. It was really sad. You know, that was a bad. You know.
Yeah, that movie resonated with a lot of people back then. It's like
Yeah.
our whole scene
Still holds up.
basically just yeah, it was part of our whole scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was something I always remembered. That was incredible. And now,
what I loved about it, it had this indie music, indie film feel with the way it was shot and the way it was done, but the soundtrack was star-studded and incredible.
My favorite one.
I loved the fact that it wasn't a Tom Cruise film. It wasn't a Steven Spielberg production. It wasn't and Brandon Lee wasn't like this big name A-list actor either. And the soundtrack like really brought it to like it the soundtrack in the film itself, marriage between the two. You don't see that very often. And it was like one big music video.
Yeah.
You know, I was a fan of that book before it was ever a movie. I had gotten an issue of Caliber Presents, and it had the first little chapter of The Crow in it, and so I had been following it and buying all the copies.
My friends were telling me
the fifth issue wasn't released for years and years and years, and so we never really got to know the end of it. But I went for The Crow one Halloween. I think it was 1988 or 89, and nobody knew who I was supposed to be. You know, it was because it was an underground comic, man. It was you know, I had the bullet shells braided into my hair, everything, and
my friend told me, he goes, Levi, you're gonna be in The Crow. I go, what the fuck is a crow? And they said, it's this character in the comics. I go, I love comic books. I never seen the comics of the Crow. And he says, yeah, man, you're gonna get it going. And when you know, so you know, I didn't have any idea what was going on, you know, but it was great. You know, it was cool. You know, it was a good thing. You know, I love to do it again. Of course, but I like to make some music. I like to make some music for some movies. I like the soundtracks. You know, that's what you're going to be doing that soon, though, Ali. You're going to be making soundtracks.
That's what I'm doing. David Bottrell did that. His amazing work with Peter Gabriel on the Passion.
That was a great movie.
Martin Scorsese. And that album that Peter did, and the fact that Bottrell had involvement with that was a huge selling factor in working with him, because I do want to film and television stuff, and there is that feel on some moments on this record that I'm hoping will open some doors for me, because I'd love to compose for stuff like that and work with Bottrell. You know, we've worked together, and if we can get some gigs doing stuff like that, I'd be down for sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I remember grabbing Martin Scorsese, and I go, man, if you don't give me a part in your fucking film, I'm gonna fuck your ass up. I'm just kidding, you know, I was kidding. And he was like, no, that's all right. Susie was like, you know, cracking up. I was like, man, give me a part. Come on. Come on, boy, that's up in the mix, you know. She said, you already made, you know, what's that movie where he's Marlon Brando's in?
Oh, Godfather?
In the movie with the war movie.
Oh, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. I said, get me in the mix. Some part.
You know, Lawrence Fishburne lied about his age in that movie. He was like 16 when that movie was made, but he lied about it to be in the movie. So Lawrence Fishburne in that movie is literally like 16 years old.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Now he's into the fucking all kinds of shit.
Yeah, yeah. He was also Cowboy Curtis on the Pee-wee's Playhouse. Yeah. Yeah, you want to go back about some Lawrence Fishburne, man. Before he went in the Matrix, he was all over Pee-wee.
You know that bike Pee Wee had?
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine, electric bike. It was cool. He had an electric bike of the Pee Wee Herman.
Oh man, that's
These
awesome.
I was riding it, and these kids, these students were they saw the bike and they go, Pee Wee Herman. Oh my man, Pee Wee goes here. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's the same bike. I was like, no way.
Oh man.
Sure enough, I told the guy, I go, man, this is Pee Wee Herman's bike. He goes, yeah, I know. I go, dude, you need to not get drunk and ride this thing. Because he had fucked it up and I fixed it for him.
Oh
But he had
man.
fucked it up. Man, I don't know. Other movie parts, I was in the Father Clemens story and stuff like that. But now with Netflix and listening, I'm thinking about maybe, getting some shots taken. There's a lot of, lot of productions where they got some black dudes, old black men. I give them some mud bone.
There you go.
Give them some mud bone, hell.
Ollie, you mentioned Bauhaus. Like, what are some of your biggest musical influences?
Oh wow, it's there's a lot. Like I love a lot of different genres. So growing up, my life changed when I saw The Cure in 1989 on the Prayer Tour with Love and Rockets and the Pixies and Chilean Orphan. That lineup
Chilean Orphan, man, I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, it was incredible lineup. I loved every band, like especially Pixies, Love and Rockets, and The Cure, like in particular. I'm not gonna lie, I probably arrived like near the end of Chilean Orphan's set, didn't really see them, and I don't really remember Chilean Orphan that much because it was so long ago and for such a short segment of their set. But I love the Pixies. I love Love and Rockets, and then The Cure came on as the rightful headliner and freaking blew me away. And so those three bands right there. And I also like music from my cultural background as well. I like a lot of world music. I love. I also grew up loving Public Enemy. I
they're
love.
great.
Is one of my favorites. I like the Beastie Boys too. I grew up, listening to them when I was young, and I loved MCA. Adam Yauch was an amazing MC. And I also love a lot of shoegaze music. I love My Bloody Valentine. I love
yeah. I love My Bloody Valentine.
I love Cranes. I saw Cranes open for The Cure in '92. That band I felt was so underrated. They were so amazing live. I love their music. I love the dynamics. Their use of cars is an influence for me. I'm not gonna.
I think it's the best way to borrow money right now.
There's some
a lot of heat for spilling the tea, but hear me out.
Cranes, not the Cranes. It's Cranes. Have had a huge influence on me too. So yeah, and I also like a lot of classic rock. The Beatles, Pink Floyd, Hendrix. And I also love funk. Like I like some Stevie Wonder. I like some Parliament. You mentioned Bootsy earlier. It's like I'm a sucker for funky beats and grooves. And
I've been listening to Sly and the Family Stone lately.
I got to give a shout out to Skinny Puppy. Skinny Puppy was huge in my life.
Same here.
In my formative years, being conscious of environmental animal rights issues and questioning the government and being subversive.
What's your favorite Puppy album?
My favorite would have to be, I would say, I really liked Jorgensen touch on bites and like and how like songs like Tin Omen, you know, and how kind of hard and edgy. There's you could tell Jorgensen's influence was there on that stuff. But I also really liked Too Dark Park.
It's my favorite.
Too Dark
Yeah.
Park, yeah.
Yeah, it's Kevin's favorite too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and more recently, I really loved Greater Wrong of the Right. I thought
Yeah.
that was a really good album. I listened to it from time to time from the more recent catalog, which is not something I can say for a lot of my old favorites. Like The Cure, I can't listen to anything from The Cure past 1992 for some reason. Like, actually, no, sorry, the Crow soundtrack was 95. That was the last interesting thing I think they've done. And everything before 95 was genius. And there's a lot of bands I feel that way for, but I felt Greater Wrong of the Right, as far as Skinny Puppy's discography goes, was a more recent gem.
Oh, for sure.
Although it's a long time ago now at this point. But yeah. What year was that? 2000.
Is it a 12 maybe? I want to
Greater Wrong of the
somewhere on there. I have an autograph somewhere. Oh, it's out of reach. But that tour is really great too. A lot of theatrics and it was when Bush was in office and yeah, the backdrops for that were amazing and love that album.
Yeah.
So you have a few different nicknames. Like it looks like 4 of them on your profile. Do you mind like telling us what the backstory is and some of your nicknames?
Okay, which ones are you looking at?
Well, like Johnny Dutchman?
Yeah, Johnny Dutchman. Okay, so there is a horror movie, a Bollywood horror movie called Johnny Dushman, and
Okay.
Dushman in Hindi and Urdu means enemy. So it was a play on that film title. So Dushman, I think, is spelled Jaani. Dushman. So it's and my uncle used to do well, a lot of entertainment promotion. He was also a black sheep in the family. He did a lot. He did big concerts with Bollywood stars, and he had a cinema that screened Bollywood films in the 70s. And I remember seeing Johnny Dushman on the screen at his cinema, and it was cheesy and scary. So I that was like really made a big impression on who I am. What my uncle was doing with film and music.
Yeah.
And so Johnny Dushman is sort of like a nod to that. And it's also kind of like, the punk name, you got like Johnny Dushman, like,
yeah. That's cool.
Frankenstein? What about that one?
Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I feel like a mishmash of cultures. Like I am an embodiment of a mishmash of cultures. I'm very Western and I'm also very Eastern. And like Frankenstein's monster, I kind of feel I've kind of grown between the lines. I've sort of fallen between the cracks. I've always felt marginalized by Westerners as a brown Muslim kid, and I've always felt marginalized by Muslims because I've never really been a good Muslim. Traditionally, so I've always been this like outcast reject, and I'm a mix East and West. So Frankenstein is kind of a play like
Frankenstein. I love that. That's so perfect, man.
Frankenstein. Lord have mercy. What's up, Franks?
So you sent us over a lot of pictures, and we're gonna end this stream a little bit differently, and we were just gonna go over the pictures and have you comment over them, or Charles or Joe, you want to chime in, but
yeah,
want to go over some of these pictures because some of these pictures are like magnificent. So let me do my thing over here. Forgive me.
Do your thing.
Let's see, move that out of the way. If I can get over, let me tab.
Gubbing it up. Yeah.
There we go. Move this over.
Okay.
All
I have
right,
to
let's
apologize
see.
to Charles in that picture. I was upstaging him in that shot. He should have been
Yeah. Yeah.
up behind
Yeah.
me.
I was eating my dust.
Thanks. Sorry, Charles.
That's okay.
That's a great picture.
That's a good picture.
That is such a great picture. Oh my God.
Maybe move this over so you can get a better shot.
Yeah, I think that was. Oh, there's Leslie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I made friends with so many Pigface people. That's how I got into Pigface. My first friend was Ogre, and then my second friend was Leslie, opening for her when she was in this side of the world for the 25th anniversary. Then I got to be friends with Galen Lee. Then I got to be friends with Curse Mackey through the Dallas Sitar stuff and Bob Dog.
Mhm.
When Pigface came
Yeah.
through, it was like I'm friends with half of the band.
Might as well be in it.
in
Yep.
town. We're
Might
like,
as well be in it, yeah.
on stage. And then that's so Leslie is one of my
Yeah.
friends in Pigface. I love Leslie. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's Bob Dog, my guy. And Antonio,
Yeah.
Mr.
This guy right here.
Save Me with the Sitar. There's
Rocking out.
Yeah. That's a Toronto shot. Yeah.
Just
Doing
Randy in the
stateless.
background.
Yeah,
That was
that's
me. What I was hoping to do in Chicago, but Charles put me in my place, rightfully so.
yeah, that's yeah.
It was me.
That's Sage on.
First
Yeah.
with the lead list on stateless in Toronto, and I was backing him up. So it was Fallon Bowman.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Danny Carey.
Well, Danny Carey,
Yeah.
having
Legend.
me on stage, Charles, he was behind you and me, man. That was so cool. Parked in front of him. Holy moly. What a drummer.
Yeah.
And of course the himself, Martin. Like
Yep.
what can I say? This guy is obviously a gem of a human being who
The
does
epitome of a Renaissance man right there.
I can't say enough good things about this guy. He's
Mhm.
done
There aren't enough good things to say about it. My God, the man is just incredible. Everything he does.
I love
Mhm.
Martin. And I like to there's a picture of us somewhere. I should have sent it to you. I said I'm like a negative of Martin. There's a photo of us together, and he's got his big white hair. I had big black hair, and he's got his goat, and I got my goatee, and he's like got big white hair, I had big black hair, and we're kind of like a negative. I was like a negative photograph.
Yeah. There's
Yeah, on this
another
gentleman right here.
Yeah.
Gonna see him tonight.
Up with
Right
Bob.
on. Oh, is he playing tonight? Joey?
What's that?
Oh,
he
there's a
playing tonight,
benefit
Joey?
in town for
Oh
one
yeah,
of the
that's
that's
right.
cancer.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Out to Curse's friend, also from Evil Mothers, a guy. Oh my God, I had his name on the tip of my tongue, and I'm already forgetting. He was in the band. I know his name. I'm so embarrassed right now.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, Sanford Allen. Jeez, sorry, Sanford. Whoops, if you're watching this, I know this is just me brain farting. Of course I know your name. Sanford Allen, great guy.
That's a good shot.
That is a very good shot. Look at that.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Hall. That's Toronto. There's me and Martin.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's
shot.
Toronto. Randy Blythe playing percussion. That's another stateless moment.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I love this shot with everybody on the cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also Toronto. Oh yeah, that's stateless again. Chris Connolly at the mic instead of as should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Randy Blythe.
Blythe in Toronto. That's a set list from Toronto. This is what we play.
That's nice.
Yeah. Another Toronto. Like I think that was sound check. We were just getting things ready for that night.
Oh.
We're signing the and that's Thali Hall's green room.
Yeah.
The stage. Oh yeah, and this is Galen Lee and me and a bunch of us doing I guess this was a acoustic suck.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was a version that's a little bit more world music-y.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Toronto again.
Yeah.
It's a smaller stage for sure. The Toronto gig was
Yeah.
not as big as the Chicago stage.
True.
Okay, that's me in the studio laying down some guitar noise.
yeah.
David Bottrell's in the back. He was getting me all mic'd up. And there's my lamp. I mean, this lamp is actually parked right beside me here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here.
Oh wow.
Cool.
That's a nice lamp.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something I stay close to. It's a bit
Yeah,
of a
you're pretty lamping.
another part of
Lamping.
me doing some guitar noise. I love guitar noise. I love My Bloody Valentine,
Yeah.
And there's David
Who's that?
J.
Yeah, there's David J. Cool
and
man.
Rakesh Tiwari standing on the left there. He's the drummer on this album. And David J was just admiring the live room. He had just arrived and was like, wow, this is a great space. That's
Wow.
literally one in this shot. Yeah. And yeah, David J working out some bass parts on a track. I believe we were sitting, there's a song called Savage Castaway. And David J was working out some bass parts for that track. We're in the control room.
So
figuring
what was it
stuff.
like being up close and personal with his great big long spider fingers?
Well, he and I toured together. I did living room shows with him in 2017, and we really bonded going on the road together, just the two of us. So David's become a good friend of mine, and
I just love watching him play. It's
he's an amazing artist, like through and through. The way he thinks, the way he approached his bass part in this. Again, there was some moment where I was just watching with fascination just to see how his approach is. And he definitely
plays fretless.
He thinks differently, and he's really an artist, and he has a great head on his shoulders. He's very smart. He's very intuitive. He's empathic. He feels. And it shows in his playing. He
really does. It absolutely does. I've seen him. God, wow! I can't. What 5? I think I've seen.
I like his personality.
I've seen Love and Rockets a ton.
Yeah, and I love those strings on his bass are the same strings. He hasn't changed them since Coachella, when Bauhaus played Coachella. Those are the same strings.
Damn.
I heard one bass player talking about in order to season his bass strings, he would soak them in barbecue sauce.
Oh wow!
You gotta get the funk on them.
That's what I forgot.
Oh my God!
Yeah, here's Bottrell taking impeccable notes. That's one thing I have to say about Bottrell is his note taking, the way he breaks down bars and sections and hones and pinpoints specifics. He's so detail oriented. He's so meticulous. It's ridiculously amazing.
It pays off in the music, man.
It does. When it comes to editing and the arranging and working with the guest musicians to really communicate what needs to happen. This guy he's got a method, and it's amazing. He's his
console's making my pants tight.
Incredible. Really, he's a consummate professional. He's an amazing producer.
Yeah. Wow.
And another angle of him doing the same thing. He's
and a lamp too.
That lamp
is
awesome. I take it everywhere I go, man.
Man.
Good.
Good shot.
Oh, David J.
Are you playing David J's bass?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he took the photo.
Oh my God, man, that is so awesome.
So it's fretless, huh?
Yeah. I love he plays a fretless bass. I love that.
Yeah.
Mick Karn did that too, but Mick Karn's had a very particular style. Or sound his.
I played the fretless at the machine where I saw you, Joe.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. I had mentioned that at the show. Yeah.
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 Oh,
so little altar setup for Oshi, kind of the focus of whole album was to honor his memory, and
Yeah.
the brown haired kid is my youngest, Oscar, and those two
Yeah.
were so tight. They were only 21 months apart. So during the
man.
pandemic, who got really close. They didn't get to go out and play with anyone. They had only each other to play with, and they became so close. Then when Ocean got sick, really hard to see those two get separated, because when Ocean was in hospital, Oscar wasn't allowed to go to the hospital because of COVID protocols.
Yeah.
And that was part of the tragedy, was the separation of those two boys.
My whole heart, dude. That is wow.
Yeah, my sympathy. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was something I had set up. And when I do my listening party, I'm going to set this up again. Mind you, the antlers belong to the studio, which was like an amazing coincidence. They happen to have antlers at the studio. So
wow.
Yeah,
that's prophetic. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Darren McGill at the mixing desk. Very, very amazingly talented engineer. He's a Pro Tools whiz. Bottrell, he really works well with David Bottrell. He loves working with Darren. Darren and he, like, they work together, like they fit like a glove, and really, really good team.
That's good.
Yeah. Another one of David J figuring stuff out. And there's Rakesh sitting by the door, the drummer, just sorting things out. Yeah,
we're going through the same. Oh, no, there we go.
David J was clapping in the room too, just like getting a feel for the acoustics.
I thought he was in prayer. Like, this is a good spot. This is a good spot. Yes.
Yeah. So, and there's Rakesh behind the kit. Rakesh is an amazing drummer. As mentioned earlier, he's in a band called Jaffa Road and a special interest group. We do a dub breakdown. That David J, being David J, is like, we gotta get into the dub. So we have a song called Mazdur, which means like labor, and it's basically hardship. And the song mutates. It starts off with a certain feel. I play nylon acoustic guitar. There's like an arabesque Spanish feel, and then it goes into this dub reggae breakdown. And it's led by David J. And Rakesh does amazing reggae music with the special interest group. So his ability to get into the dub groove with David J was something old. Like it was amazing. And that song ends off with an industrial ending. And for me, it was like a mutation, because with Ocean's cancer story, I wanted a sonic mutation in this Mazdur song. So we took it through these different sounds, and the dub reggae section is one of the moments that I really loved, thanks to David J. Yeah.
Wow.
That is incredible.
Yeah. So Dave, that's obviously David in the room laying down stuff. The other stuff in the control, him figuring stuff out, and that's him laying it down. So and of course we had the rhythm section guys playing off each other. Great to have them vibe with one another so well. It was so good. Bottrell giving notes, the impeccable notes of Bottrell coming in handy. Him guiding the production process, talking with David about what we're going to try and what we're going to do. And one of the things that I am like blown away by is I have my demos and where these songs started, and when I listen to where we've taken, holy crap, it's an amazing contrast. And that's something I'd like to do. Actually, I might show some of that on Tuesday at the listening party. I might actually show clips of what the songs sounded like as demos, and then you get to see where they've ended up. Bottrell, really helped flesh out these songs in an amazing way.
Okay. Good.
Let's see.
I've
got to go here. I'm sorry. I've got to go with my favorite musician.
Oh, what's he doing there?
What is he doing?
Classic Kevin.
The backstage.
that little smirk on his face.
I know that look.
Oh my God, I love him so much.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the I versus Spy Skinny Puppy hoodie. It was that tour, and this was
Oh,
backstage.
nice.
And Ogre and I had been hanging out that day, and I ended up bringing him to the gig, and ended up being back, guys, and I got ridiculously high. It was kind of there was so much going.
When in Rome,
Yeah.
When in
yeah,
Rome, maybe.
yeah,
show
There
this.
we go with Mr. Maxenquay himself.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Tricky.
It's a great photo.
that was during his No West Boy, when he released No West Boy, and was touring that album. That's an also album. And Mark Gemini Thwaite, who appears on my album, did guitar work with Tricky as well, which I'm
wow.
very pleased to have a Tricky musical link through Mark Gemini Thwaite.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Shit.
Are you okay if I close with this one, Ali?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, wasn't sure. I want to make sure I'm not stepping on any toes.
No, I shared them with you in case you wanted to go over any of this stuff.
I wanted to close with this if that was okay, if it loads, which it should load.
Of course,
You know, would it be too forward to along with Jason Lupo, but dedicate their show to Oshin as well?
sure. I would be very happy. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a very lovely gesture. Thank you.
There we go.
Oh yeah. So this is a good friend of ours, Samantha Gemmel, who is the sister of Chris Alexander, who is a filmmaker that connected me with Ogre. Is how we got to this ranch. She owns this horse, and when Oshin was sick, he was home with us after spending some time in hospital. We were able to take him out, things like this, and this is I got the Oshin was having trouble standing, so I had to hold him up, and he had some beautiful moments that day visiting this horse. A beautiful Chris Alexander and his sister Samantha are wonderful people, and this opportunity to go and hang out with this horse, who was also very special, was a really nice thing to do for Oshin. And he loves animals. This is also at the ranch that day, and this was Oshin's birthday, and Tuesdays would have been 9th birthday, so I'm gonna be including some of these pictures for the event on Tuesday, because it would have been his 9th birthday on the 27th of February. And
He resembles
guy.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people say that, but you want to know something crazy is when I met Oshin's mom, he was a year old, and he was born by IVF, and there was no baby daddy in the picture. So I became his daddy. And and I've been in his life since he was 1. And Oscar came along 11 months after I met his mom. So we had a pretty quick family situation develop, and I instantly became Oshin's dad, and we bonded. Like, Oshin has a baby. I don't know if I sent you a picture of him. There's a picture of him when he's really little. It's like the first photo I ever had with Oshin. You could sort of see just how young he was when I met him. So he didn't know life without me. I was daddy to him, and he was a boy. And I raised him and Oscar together for the time we had with him. And that's the picture. That's what Oshin looked like when we first met.
Oh wow.
That's what I look like.
Look at that little smile.
That's good. You got a good picture there.
My short hair. Yeah. That was my guy when we met, and we bonded instantly. He was so happy with me, and I was happy with him, and I kind of fell in love right away. It was like the first too. He was such a sweet soul. So my mom came back from Pakistan and brought back the boys some clothes. So this is a picture trying it on.
That's so cool.
Oh my gosh. They are so adorable.
Yeah. So some more clothes. We're celebrating Eid, which my mom liked to dress up the kids. She got clothes from Pakistan for Ramadan. At the end of Ramadan, they celebrate Eid. And these are the clothes that my mom got them for Eid. What I like about this is their shirts match their eye color.
Yeah, I know. I
Oh
know.
my God, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Adorable.
great shot,
I
man.
love,
They're
I love
adorable.
my Irish kid in Pakistani clothes. I love, and this is my blending cultures, blending,
Yeah.
just mix up, and it's all with love. I love this
Yeah.
kid. We have a world full of racial division, religious division,
Yeah.
cultural division.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to break down the barriers and mix it up. And this kid, for me, was such a symbol of that. And like I came up as like a brown kid in a white world, and I was kind of raising this white kid with some brown.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's very cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love able to do that with him, and my mom loved
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
So this
cool.
Iceland. The album starts with this. Ocean's
Oh,
playing
yeah.
these pipes. So when he was diagnosed with cancer, I was really obviously distraught and feeling lost and unable to help.
Yeah.
It's the worst feeling for a parent to see your child in trouble and not being able to do anything. So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I'm a musician. What can I do as a musician? I started looking at sound therapies, and I
Yeah.
discovered solfeggio pipes, and I started using tuning forks and these pipes to help Oshin relax. And he liked to play them. I'd play them for him, and it would help him sleep. But in this instance, this was at a cottage we had rented in Iceland. And it's in a little area called Edlithakot, which is the title of the intro track where you hear Oshin playing these. And I also recorded Oscar playing them in Toronto, just so I could have them both in a recording together. And so the album this is literally a still from a video clip of Oshin playing it, and the audio of that is what opens the album.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. So that's him playing the solfeggio pipes. It's a sound therapy tool. That's something I've got to is sound healing and sound therapy through Oshin's experience. And I'm looking to do palliative care stuff, having gone through it with Oshin, and the topic of death is something that people don't like to broach, and I don't know if a lot of sound healing people touch palliative care stuff, and I think that might be an underserviced area, and it's something I might be looking into doing more work in, is sound therapy for the dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is us at Hallsgrim Kirkja in Reykjavik, and that sticker on the pole with the triangle was our Team Oshin stickers. We had built a community around Oshin's and recovery to cheer him on. We had a lot of online activity, people sending messages and stuff. So it was a really great online thing. People following his journey. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a picture. Our family was together in our home. This was back in the day before he even got sick. Just a moment. You get a sense of his personality here. He was really vibrant smile. He was a personality. Really, really sweet. Yeah, ray of sunshine. I call him my sunbeam. There's Oscar. This is my youngest in Iceland. I've got a series of photos of me and my kids standing.
So what is he standing on?
Yeah.
He's standing on like this like rock in Iceland. We went to walking around in these beautiful natural.
Yeah, it looks like dinosaur poop.
I wasn't gonna say it. Charles was.
It's
I just
it's
gotta
that
say,
mound
man.
from Jurassic Park. Yeah. No, but he's king of the mountain. Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. That's my boy.
Yeah.
That's my young.
Yeah. No disrespect, please.
No.
And
Yeah.
I think that's all we
That's
got.
us. This is us.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
that's how we wanted to close.
What's that?
Yeah, Ali.
That's how we wanted to close the show, is with your pictures of your kids.
Thank you. That was very, very, very sweet of you guys to have me on and you share.
Definitely.
It,
Well, we
you know,
appreciate it.
I've been changed through this experience of grief, and I'm realizing the importance of time and how much or how little time we have, and how important community and relationships are. And I've been feeling a mix of like closing down and withdrawing, but I'm also like wanting to share and talk to people, because I don't know, it's there's a lot of people in pain. And I've seen other parents having gone through this that are losing their kids and have lost their kids. And then you see the war situations in the world and the economic strife that people are living in. And I think it's important to talk about these difficult issues. Like the death of a child is like the worst nightmare.
Worst nightmare
Situation. And I'm still reeling. I'm not going to pretend that I'm okay. I have moments. Actually, today I had a rough start to today. My mental health was not good this morning. I woke up feeling really down, and that happens. And grief is, and I know you have your own grief journey with your own challenges, and we have stuff that we're dealing with. And I feel like it's important to talk.
It is.
And,
for sure.
It is.
And not be so particular. And I've struggled with it, because part of me is like, am I being an exhibitionist, just showing so much and talking so much? But it's like, no, and like we need to talk more. A lot of people are kind of hiding in the corners and the shadows, kind of shamefully hiding their grief and their sadness, because especially dudes, we're supposed to be tough and stoic. Like, no, man.
No,
okay
it's important for us to share this stuff. It really is. I mean, right now the world is in such a dark place. Everybody's kind of disconnected and polarized. And any bit of connection that we can get with somebody else is important. Especially, I mean, God, we've been dealing with astronomical amounts of stress just from the world situation for an extended period of time. It's people are threadbare, and we need each other. So you know, I also was having a really difficult morning, and
you said
the guys were saying, hey, you know, if you can't do this, and I'm like, no, this is important for my mental health too. I want to be there, and I'm glad I am.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad too. Thank you.
I'm glad you are too, Joe.
Yeah,
too, Joe.
thank you, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I'm glad you were able to make it in too, Ollie. This is, you know, I love you, brother.
Love you too.
What time is it out there?
Right in Toronto. In Toronto, we're 2 hours. I think it's 8 p.m. here.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. in Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah. Should probably sign off. Guys, please hang out. Joe, will you send us off?
Another episode of Industrial Amputation. Today we were with Ollie Jafri. Thank you very much. This episode is dedicated specifically to Ollie's son, Oshin, and our fallen friend, Jason Lupo. Everybody, be good to each other. If you need to talk, I'm pretty sure anybody on Facebook can reach out to any one of us. We're happy to be there.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you, guys. Lots of love to all of you. Once again, thank you, King Charles. Levi, you're amazing, man.
Thank you. Thank you. You too, man. And your album's coming out, and your show party. Let's talk about that. You're just going to be presented.
Being digitally released on the 27th. There'll be a physical release of vinyl and CDs, and hopefully an eventual tour. I do want a tour, and I'm trying to make things happen for that to be a reality. So I'm looking for band members.
We'll be pushing for that for you.
Yeah.
I'd like to get David J, but that guy's pretty busy. And
well, you know, maybe I'll see what's up on my cards.
There we
No,
go.
definitely. But we will be back together again, Ali. That's for
Yes.
damn sure. That's for
Sure.
damn sure. Definitely.
All right.
Everybody.
Well, and to echo what Joe was saying, yeah, reach out if anybody watching this wants to. Like, I'm an open, approachable person. Reach out to me if you have any questions. If you want,
Yeah.
if anyone wants to talk, we're here. I'm here anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, nice T-shirt. I just noticed.
Representing.
Representing the
Got Chicago as well.
Museum of Industrial and Post-Bunk. Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? Martin has this sitar. The sitar I played at Thalia Hall in his photos. It's at the.
Oh, nice.
I donated
Oh
it.
wow.
Bought another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. He's he got high ratings for the museum. That's really
Yep.
good.
Yeah.
I sent him an email. I mean, I sent him a text.
Yeah.
He wants to come out there and play the guitar, so hopefully one day I'll make it there. I haven't been to Chicago since that gig, so I want to go back.
Oh,
I have to make it out too. I'm one of the early founding or founder members. I've got my little
Yeah.
card and
Yeah, me too. I'm number
Yeah.
11.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right on. I
I'm
can't remember
somewhere
what
in there.
number I am. I
I'm
have to
somewhere
check it
in
out.
there. I got to send him my bass.
Yeah.
I got two basses. I'm gonna send him the bass I played at the Pigface. It's gonna be at the museum,
Yeah.
So I got to send that to him.
Yeah, my Pigface Revolting Cox poster, a great big silk screen from Alan Yeager is hanging in there somewhere.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Guys, I'm gonna
Well,
close
that's
it
been
up.
industrial amputation, guys.
Yeah,
Everybody
thank you.
have a beautiful evening.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.